The FBI has reopened its investigation into additional Clinton emails. Donald Trump is closing the gap in a new national poll released Saturday, and flames engulf a runway at O'Hare International Airport. I'm Wes Young.
And I'm Tony Peak. ATV News starts now. Travelers today are worried about their safety after two different planes catch fire on their runways. The right side of American Airlines Boeing 767 aircraft started to show flames during an attempted takeoff on Friday at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport. Debris was pushed a half-mile back due to the heavy flames. The 161 passengers were able to make it out of the plane's emergency exits quickly. About 20 people suffered minor injuries, such as bruising and injured ankles, due to the rough evacuation down the emergency slides. Sources close to the investigation say that the plane suffered an uncontained failure. Down at the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport, a FedEx cargo plane bursted into flames Friday afternoon, causing the airport to shut down for the remainder of the afternoon. The plane's landing gear collapsed as it touched ground, causing the aircraft to go up in flames. The plane, carrying U.S. shipments and mail, was traveling from the FedEx headquarters in Memphis. Most of the damage occurred in the outside of the plane, with little damage done to the inside. The pilot and co-pilot were able to escape, and no injuries have been reported.
A new national poll released Saturday has Hillary Clinton ahead of Donald Trump by just 2 points, down from numerous other national polls prior to this. Clinton had been up by as much as 12 points nationally in earlier tracking polls. The ABC News Washington Post tracking poll has Clinton at 47% to Trump's 45%. The poll was conducted throughout the past week, but ended prior to the latest news regarding the FBI's investigation into additional Clinton emails.
Now let's go to Savannah McCann for the latest in entertainment news.
Thanks, Tony. I'm Savannah McCann with ATV Entertainment. Good news and bad news. The bad news, Raven-Symoné is leaving The View after 2 short seasons. The good news, she's returning to That's So Raven. The new series will feature Raven as a single mother raising 2 children, one of whom has visions like her mother. The untitled series does not have a release date yet. Speaking of Disney stars, Kevin Jonas and his wife Danielle welcomed a baby girl last weekend. This is the couple's second child, and they could not be happier. Well, they are not as happy as DJ Khaled, who Snapchatted his wife giving birth this weekend. This video is no surprise, as DJ Khaled spends most of the time giving us major keys via Snapchat. DJ Khaled and his wife are proud parents of a healthy baby boy. Good thing DJ Khaled chose Snapchat and not Vine as his favorite social media platform. The CEO of Twitter and Vine announced that the 6-second video platform will shut down in these coming months. On Wednesday, a man posing as a construction worker destroyed Donald Trump's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The man, James Otis, was arrested for vandalism. He stated that he destroyed the star to protest the GOP nominee. Mariah Carey canceled the remaining shows on her Latin American tour. She blamed it on promotional issues, but word has spread that her and her fiancé, James Packer, have called it quits. Mariah will star in her own reality TV show starring in early December. I'm sure we will get to watch all the drama unfold on the air. Season 7 of The Walking Dead premiered this week, and spoiler alert, fans had to say goodbye to a major character. And this is leaving fans wondering what's going to happen next. But that's it for ATV Entertainment. I'm Savannah McCann, and back to Tony and Wes in the studio.
Thanks, Savannah. It's interesting, Wes, with the different social media platforms that are coming out and then seeing ones that were so popular at one point and how they're making their way out of use, especially with Vine. Like Snapchat has really come to the forefront, so it's kind of interesting to see how Vine is just so just not really relevant much anymore.
I've been watching a lot of people share their favorite Vines now that it's going to be gone. It's been kind of nice but bittersweet.
It's
for
gonna
sure.
be. I'm sure it's trending now just because it's in
Right.
it's in the news now, but you know. With airplanes being the trend in news today, we'll keep our focus in the sky with the Russian fighter jet and U.S. military plane that flew dangerously close to each other while flying over Syria earlier this month. The Pentagon reports that both planes were flying at hundreds of miles an hour with their lights off during the night of October 17th. The U.S. plane came within a half-mile of the Russian fighter jet and was said to be escorting a Russian spy plane. With tensions increasing between the United States and Russia over Russia's role in the Syrian war, this close encounter is raising eyebrows about what can happen next.
The issue of bathroom discrimination laws will make its way to the Supreme Court early next year. State and local laws requiring individuals to only use bathrooms that correspond to their gender at birth have sparked controversy across the country. On Friday, the court announced that it will hear the case of 17-year-old Gavin Grimm of Gloucester County, Virginia. After coming out as trans during his freshman year of high school, Gavin is required by law to use the girls' bathroom at his school. This case is expected to be perhaps the most high-profile case the court will hear after the death of Justice Scalia earlier this year. And by the time Gavin's case is heard by the court, there may be a new justice on the bench. Let's go to Kate Ivey for the weekly sports update.
Thanks, Wes. I'm Kate Ivey, and here's what's happening in sports. The Chicago Cubs made it to the World Series last week after beating the Los Angeles Dodgers 5-0 on October 22nd. This is the Cubs' first trip to the World Series in 71 years. As of Saturday, the Indians were leading the World Series 2-1. Quarterback Tom Brady led the Patriots to victory on Sunday, October 23rd, when they defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers 27-16. During the game, Brady threw a total of 222 passing yards, including 2 passing touchdowns. Rob Gronkowski, with a total of 93 receiving yards, caught one of these touchdown passes and now holds 307 receiving yards for the season. The Patriots' record currently sits at 6-1. Moving to the NBA, the Washington, D.C. Wizards beat the Toronto Raptors 119-82 in the preseason game on Friday, October 21st. Markieff Morris scored 19 points and caught 9 rebounds for the Wizards, while Bradley Beal also scored 19 points with 9 assists. The Wizards hope to continue their winning into the regular season. American University's women's volleyball team remains undefeated in the Patriot League after playing Bucknell on Saturday, October 22nd, and winning 3-0. Setter Kennedy Etheridge led the team with her steady persistence and now has 89 sets overall. This game marked America's 11th straight win in the Patriot League. For ATV Sports, I'm Kate Ivey. Back to Tony and Wes at the desk.
Thanks, Kate.
The protests regarding the Dakota Access Pipeline are continuing to heat up. As work resumed on the pipeline Friday, authorities say that the violence is at a new level, with protesters on horseback making their way onto the scene. Police arrested 141 people after many protesters didn't respond well to police interference. 411 people in total, including actress Shailene Woodley, have been arrested due to the crisis at the pipeline, and it doesn't look like that will be stopping anytime soon. Now let's go to Grace Loudon with ATV Politics.
Thanks, Tony. I'm Grace Loudon with the Politics Update. Election Day looms in 9 days, and both candidates are doing everything they can to appease uncertain voters and capture battleground states. In recent news, the FBI is reopening the investigation into Hillary Clinton's email server. News spread fast on Friday after FBI Director James Comey sent a letter to Congress saying the investigation is now open to re-examine additional emails for classified information. These emails were found during what's being called an unrelated investigation. Clinton and Trump have teams in place to make lists for possible cabinet members. According to sources of the Clinton campaign, Vice President Joe Biden's name is on the list for Secretary of State. However, even though Biden has campaigned for Clinton, he also has expressed his disinterest in continuing his political career. Donald Trump's wife, Melania, is said to present a series of closing speeches for Trump's campaign. Melania hasn't served as an active role in the campaign since she was ridiculed for plagiarizing Michelle Obama in her speech at the Republican National Convention in July. This news surfaced after the 12th woman accused Trump of sexual assault, and many believe Melania's speeches are meant to improve Trump's standing with women. According to the 2016 CNN election map, Clinton is predicted to win the election with 272 electoral votes from Democrat and leading Democrat states. However, close attention is being paid to battleground states such as Ohio and Utah, as well as Democrat-leading states such as Pennsylvania, because their indecisiveness has made it hard to predict a definitive winner. That's it for This Week in Politics. I'm Grace Loudon. Back to Tony and Wes in the studio.
Thanks, Grace.
You know, Tony, this email issue is something Hillary has not been able to dodge month after month during this election. But what's interesting is that this wasn't an issue with her private server like it has in the past, but an Anthony Weiner investigation.
I know. It's just, we're coming down to crunch time now with the election coming up in a few days, and I just really hope that people that are going out there to vote really take into consideration all of these situations that are coming up. We need to make educated decisions, and this is just another notch on the belt as to why we really just need to pay attention to what both candidates stand for and then make a decision from there.
Certainly. A woman in Des Moines, Iowa has been arrested in one of the first voter fraud cases of the 2016 election. With early voting taking place across the state of Iowa, Terry Rote was arrested for attempting to vote at 2 different polling places in Des Moines. The woman, who says she is a Donald Trump supporter, could face up to 5 years in jail if convicted, according to the Polk County Police. Let's go to Mariah Espada for the weekly finance report.
Thanks, Wes. I'm Mariah Espada with this week's finance report. The market this week saw a moderate decline with the S&P 500 down 0.25%. Despite the week's current decline, the economy is still improving. Year after year, the economy has grown 2.9% since last year's third quarter. On Wall Street's most trading was based off of companies' third quarter earning reports. Notable reports include Amazon, which fell 30 cents short of its estimated 82 cents per share for quarter 3. Ford's profit is down 55% in the third quarter compared to last year, and ExxonMobil's revenue was nearly $5 billion more than expected. In other news, the Federal Reserve is meeting this coming Tuesday and Wednesday. It's unlikely they will raise the interest rate due to elections being right around the corner. The real news to come out of the meeting will be any hints to the intention of raising the rate in the near future. The thing that Fed wants to do is disrupt the market with a sudden rate increase. If they do plan on raising the rates anytime soon, they will start making it abundantly clear. On Wednesday, the IRS released the 2017 tax rates, standard deductions, and exemptions. For the most part, it's only minor changes to account for increased cost of living and inflation. One notable change, however, is itemized deductions for high-income taxpayers. The piece limitations have increased from last year, limiting deductions for higher income taxpayers. If you want to get a nice tax credit for 2017, Tesla may have the answer. Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, showed off solar-powered roof tiles. These tiles are just like regular roofing shingles, but collect solar power without the ugly form factor of current solar panels. These tiles would integrate with Tesla's existing products, such as the Powerwall and full electric cars. This news could be the perfect tax break in 2017. That's it for finance. I'm Mariah Espada. Back to Tony and Wes at the desk.
Thanks, Mariah. You know, Tony, this is another example of what could really come into play in the election with so few days left. This new IRS deductions for higher income taxpayers, especially with the issue of whether Donald Trump will release his tax returns before the election.
That is very interesting. So we will just have to see what happens with this election. Honestly, there's just so many factors that come into play, and finance just is something that needs to be taken very, very seriously. 7 people who were among the armed occupiers of an Oregon federal wildlife refuge were acquitted of their charges. This comes after the 41-day standoff earlier this year when dozens of people occupied part of the wildlife refuge on January 2nd after gathering outside for a demonstration supporting Dwight and Stephen Haymond, ranchers who were convicted of arson in defiance of government policies. Ammon Bundy, his brother Ryan Bundy, and 3 others were found not guilty of firearm charges and conspiracy to impede federal workers. The jury could not reach a verdict on the theft charges against Ryan Bundy. Now let's go to Sumita Bhattarai for the latest in world news.
Thanks, Tony. I'm Sumita Bhattarai with ATV World News. This week, South Africa, Burundi, and the Gambia all announced that they will withdraw from the International Criminal Court. Because of these withdrawals, many presume that more African nations will withdraw as well. The reason behind these withdrawals is reportedly the court's failure to indict criminals who have committed heinous crimes against people of color, as well as the general bias against Africa. Other countries such as Kenya and Namibia have raised the possibility of leaving the ICC as well. Next, multiple bombings took place at a Syrian school located in the city of Idlib, 37 miles southwest of Aleppo. The bombings killed numerous children as well as teachers, custodians, and first responders. UNICEF said this attack is possibly one of the deadliest attacks since the start of the Syrian civil war. Washington believes that either Russia or Syria conducted the strikes. However, neither of the 2 governments have claimed responsibility. Millions of children have remained out of school since the beginning of the war, with millions more expected to drop out this year. Lastly, Pakistan expelled Indian diplomat Surjit Singh for spying. This expulsion is a response to New Delhi's announcement that they would expel a Pakistan High Commission staffer named Mahmood Akhtar for apparently being involved in espionage activities. The 2 countries were already in a tense situation following their ongoing conflict in Kashmir. The Pakistan High Commissioner denied accusations held against them. However, 2 men from Rajasthan were also arrested for leaking sensitive documents. That's it for ATV World News. I'm Sumita Bhattarai. Back to Tony and Wes in the studio.
Thanks, Sumita. Wes, it's just heartbreaking to hear just about the severe terror going on in Syria with these bombings. There are innocent children that are losing their lives, and it keeps happening. It keeps coming up, and just when is it going to stop?
Of course, it is harder to hear when it is so many children that are affected. And the fact that these are the deadliest attacks and just a series of attacks and that no one is taking responsibility is just very troubling.
Heartbreaking.
Following a series of scary clown sightings across the United States, Germany is now saying it will adopt a zero-tolerance policy for similar stunts. After clown sightings began in the U.S., the phenomenon also spread across Europe, and European authorities have been struggling how to respond to these sightings. And now the German Interior Minister says police officials will be on high alert over the next few days leading up to Halloween. Let's go to Jill Cameron for your weekly weather report.
Thanks, Wes. I'm Jill Cameron with your weekly weather forecast. The days of 80-degree heat and sun are behind us. Even though fall started way back on September 22nd, it's remained pretty warm until recently. But over the past week, temperatures dropped to the low to mid-60s. But don't break out your winter coats just yet. We're going to see temperatures in the upper 60s and low 70s during the work week. On Saturday, skies were mostly sunny with a high of 62 and a low of 49. And on Sunday, the sun came out in full force with a high of 62. For all the fall lovers out there, you might be a little disappointed this year. Temperatures in November are expected to remain above the average for most of the month. Dr. Todd Crawford, the chief meteorologist with the weather company, blames the warmer air on an unusually strong Pacific jet. But by the end of November, we should see some cooler temperatures. With your weekly weather forecast, I'm Jill Cameron. Back to Tony and Wes at the desk.
Thanks, Jill.
Let's go to Emily Lytle and Chelsea Fosu with What's Up AU.
Thanks, Tony. I'm Chelsea Fosu.
And I'm Emily Lytle, and this is What's Up AU. On Tuesday, November 8th, people across the country will tune in to follow the election of our 45th president. And here, on American University's campus, the School of International Service will kick off their election night party, giving students the opportunity to witness the historical moment together. The free event will include refreshments, live coverage, networking, and a photo booth. If you want to join in on the fun, please RSVP by November 1st.
Also coming up on November 1st, the Center of Diversity and Inclusion will host a talk about racial fatigue and trauma. Facilitated by Professor Betty Dickerson, the discussion will center around student activists, their experiences, and how they find balance in daily college life. If you come by the Mary Graydon Center, room 247, from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., you can engage in this thoughtful discussion and enjoy provided comfort food.
This week, a new name joins American University's list of honored guests, Dr. Nemat Najumi, author of American State Building in Afghanistan and Its Regional Consequences. This Thursday, November 3rd, you can join Dr. Najumi in the SIS Founders Room from 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. to discuss the effects of U.S. policies in state building in Afghanistan.
As the Halloween weekend wraps up, the Wellness Center knows just how to motivate all the chocolate lovers out there. This coming Saturday, November 5th, the center will lead AU students to their Heart Walk at the National Mall. This American Heart Association event will raise funds to save lives from heart disease and stroke, while also promoting healthy living. The group will leave campus at 7 a.m. Even if you do not plan on attending, they encourage you to raise money on your own. In the meantime, happy trick-or-treating, and we wish you a safe and sweet Halloween.
I'm Emily Lytle.
And I'm Chelsea Fosu. And this has been What's Up AU.
Thanks, ladies.
I tell you, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of events on the AU campus during election night. Do you have any big plans?
Honestly, I'm still trying to figure them out. There's just so much going on, whether it's downtown, on campus, so much to do. And I'm just overwhelmed and I just don't even know what I'm going to do. So what about you, Wes? What are your plans?
I'll actually be in New Hampshire covering the Senate race there. So I'm very excited to head up there.
Oh, keep us updated. Well, that's it for ATV News.
Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.